Hi everyone, it is nighttime in the city of Detroit, and as you can see, I have a little setup going on here with my traffic lights. If you guys hadn't seen my last video, I actually did a video about picking up this wonderful fixed Marbelite four-way signal. And in that video I had talked about getting this thing working and restored and actually getting it the sequence, and even though it's clearly not restored, I actually got it to a point where it's functionable. And I am definitely excited and definitely ready now, especially now that I'm healed up from my surgery, to do a review about this wonderful masterpiece. So let me go ahead and set my camera down and we can get started. Here is my late 1950s fixed four-way Marbelite traffic signal. This signal is very, very cool and very big, as you can see. I'm still trying to mess with the camera a slight bit here. You can see it really takes over my my little display, backdrop display here that I try to make in my little room. So really happy to finally do a video about this signal. If you guys hadn't seen the vlog video, I probably will have that link in the description. However, that video did recently just get copyrighted for some stupid reason. I think it's my radio music that was probably playing, but in that video I basically went ahead and did a little vlog about going and getting this light, and I talked about it a little bit. So some of the things I talked about in that video might be the same things I talk about here, but I'm definitely going to go into some more detail since this is a review video. Now, like my streetlight reviews, I'm going to be doing pretty much the same thing with this. I'm just going to go over the quality of the signal, the overall design, the features, and the insides, and yeah, that's pretty much what I'll be doing. But a little bit of a history lesson on the signal. Now, the history on this traffic signal might be a little bit hard to explain, as it's not entirely clear what the history is on this signal, but back in the day, these signals were originally, I guess, built by a company called Horny, and they made these signals in the same exact design, except there were some slight differences on the doors. I don't know if they had this design, but as you can see, these visors on here are pretty unique in shape, and I'm not sure if they had that design, but they pretty much, everything was pretty much the same in design and build. They made their signals, I guess sometime in the 30s for a while, and a lot of times you'd see these signals sequencing differently back then. A lot of them, instead of going from just green to yellow to red, they would go from green to yellow, but green would still be on for a little bit, and then it would step just up to red. And basically back then, I guess vehicles were usually manual, so basically what that green and yellow was telling you was to get your car in gear to go. However, the sequencer I have in here pretty much is like a modern sequencer and doesn't really do that effect, unfortunately. But just a little bit of a fun fact, I guess, for you signal fanatics out there. A lot of these signals were pretty much used in four-way intersections, because that's pretty much what a fixed four-way signal is. However, if you wanted to, you could actually get these fixed in three-way and in two-way. Different versions of these were optional, depending on what you wanted, what the designer wanted their intersection to be like. Honestly, I prefer these four-way versions. The three-way fixed versions have flat panels on the side, and I'm not a huge fan of those, but I do like these fixed four-way ones a lot better. Eventually, Horning, I guess, was bought out by Marbelite, and pretty much Marbelite kept their design. Marbelite made this style of signal for quite a long time, I guess into the 60s, and they also made single-faced signals as well, which I hope to eventually get one in my collection. For a while, until the 60s, they got bought out, I guess, by Econolite, which basically took their single-face signal design, but these types of signals were starting to become obsolete by the 60s, as the single-phase signals were much more modular and you could build different types of clusters with them. So this signal was basically just discontinued, and they no longer made these signals, at least to what my current knowledge on this is. If that's not correct, please let me know. But yeah, that is the complicated history on this signal, but this signal despite its unknown complicated history, is very awesome. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the signal. Now, the old four-way signals are a lot higher quality than this. However, this is a little bit on the normal side of quality, but it's still very good since this was made in the 50s. Everything you see here is pretty much a cast aluminum, except for these visors. This is basically just a pressed aluminum, but it is very high quality. It has had a couple layers of paint on it at one time, and when I go to restore this, that'll be taken care of. You can see the nice clean finish up here. And one thing Marbelite did, you have your main streets on here, and some signals did this and some signals didn't. Some signals actually would say north, south, east, west on each end of the signal, but this one has Main Street 1. Oh, I guess we're going backwards here. We got Main Street 4, 3, and 2. If you can see it right under that shadow, and then basically 1. So you pretty much, you can position it in any way you need to, depending on which street is the main street and which street is the side street. And that's also helpful too for the people who have to wire up this signal. So yeah, really cool. As we go down here, you can kind of see the corner here. Now, like I said, these signals are modular. I'm going to go ahead and kind of briefly open this. This is a square housing, and they're all just screwed together. They all have screws on the side here. This screws down to these 4 housings, which I think are screwed into the side of each other. So that's pretty much continues down. There's another set of screws inside here that screw these modules together. And then the same thing goes for here. And the bottom plate as well also has a screw going up into the bottom that screws that plate together. So pretty much there's screws just kind of holding this whole thing together. Now, most of these types of signals had rods going through them, kind of clamping all the modules together, but this one is just all individually screwed, so it is a little bit different in that meaning. You can see the door here. Like I said, nice cast aluminum, pretty nice, and pretty nice quality door. You can see it's nice square finish, and it really stands out. Some of the older Marbelites didn't have it. There was kind of a lip that came in and then it went up, but you can see this one actually pops out from the housing here. So pretty cool. You can see the little wing nut here to open it up. Nice little high quality wing nut. And since we're on this side of the door, you can see the hinges here. Pretty much just got a friction pin in there holding those in, and they're easy to knock out in case you ever have to clean the signal. And we continue our way over this way. You can see the lovely visor on this traffic signal. Now, a lot of signals either have these cutaway visors, they like to call them, or these tunnel visors. But if you look at Marbelite's unique visor, it's kind of a little bit of a mix of both, actually. This is called, I guess people call these cutaway tunnel visors. Basically because on the front half, it's kind of that tunnel shape, but it still cuts away, but it cuts away very, very low on the visor. Like I said, these visors are just pressed aluminum, and they're pretty basic. They're not super high quality, but they're not low quality either. However, they are very prone to denting. I have, for the most part, gotten all the dents out of the visors, but I will still need to kind of work on them just a little bit to get them look spiffy again. One thing that I did notice, unfortunately, and this is not good, someone took the original screws out, and they did get stripped out. They sheared the heads off them, and they put these new brackets on. Now, I don't know why this person tore all those off, but I'm going to have to replace all those. But there is at least a couple that are still on here. They got these little aluminum brackets hanging on here to keep those on. I went ahead and got all new screws, and I had to rethread all the holes back to the way they were. But on the bright side, even though the holes were kind of stripped out, if I open this up here, this screw that goes in here to hold the refractor in actually goes into this hole that this screw is in. So it was easy to drill out the screw from the back side and repair that. So yeah, And I'm sure you guys just saw, but to get into your signal, you just untwist that enough and you pull this over to the side here. And I kind of did that bad, but whatever. You just push your door open like that. So yeah. Inside you can see the lens here, or refractor lens, whatever you guys want to call it. Usually in traffic signaling they just call these the lenses, so we'll just leave it at that. And you can see our lovely reflector in here with our lamp. This is just a pressed aluminum reflector disc that kind of just fits in here. However, if we pop that open, it just kind of undoes itself from that. You can see the backside and the bracketing that it's on. This is made of cast aluminum and it is finished pretty well. Our socket is right here, and these are usually removable. All you got to do is pull that downward a bit. Pull this little tension rod down. I probably can't do it on camera. You just basically, all you got to do really is pull that down. This will come up a little bit, and you can actually pivot this socket. You can see there's some little steps right here, and you can pivot that socket. However, I don't really think that kind of adjustment is necessary, but it's there if you want it. And you just basically gotta press it. I think I hit it back behind there to get it to close, that little clip. And yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna take one of these off and we can take a look at it. Basically, to get the lenses out of these signals, all you gotta do is undo these screws here, which go to these tabs. If you're wondering why there's a check mark there, that's actually my doing. I gotta do some JB Weld repair on some of these holes. But yeah, you just undo these screws here. Oopsie, got a little bit of a slip there. Let's go ahead. Yep, there it comes. Awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now, someone has definitely taken this lens out before because there is some minor scuffing on the top here, but I took the amber lens out because this one's pretty much the brightest and most clear lens we can look at. So we got this nice rubber gasket on here, and a lot of times these get cracked and brittle, and that's pretty much just from the heat of the lamp. But this is the amber, so this one's is in pretty good shape. But yeah, it just slides right off. There's some dirt kind of trapped in there. Flip it around here, you can see the really nice, clean, quality look of the lens. This is basically a Kopp brand lens, and Kopp actually makes a lot of these lenses. This is the sawtooth design, which isn't the most popular, but it's not a bad design. But this is a Marbelite version. This is called the short bolt lens, I believe, because it has the Marbelite M and it has a lightning bolt going through it. There are some older style Corning lenses that Marbelite used with their logoing as well, and I actually think they're a lot nicer, but this one's not too bad. And luckily for this signal, all the lenses are here, so none of them were broken and none of them were missing and replaced. So glad to have all the original lenses to this lamp. You put the rim up here, you can see it says, if I can get it to focus here, come on you, Kopp Lens Inc. Turn it to the side, you can see the radius of the lens right here and some other information. Down here you can see that it says, if I can just flip the wrong way, made in USA. And then lastly, you can see that it says Marbelite Company, New York City. So this traffic light could have come from New York City. Yeah, really awesome. So let's go ahead and put that back in the signal and take a look inside our signal. Alrighty, let's go ahead and open up the inside of the signal. I will say this is a big signal, so it's hard to get some good camera angles of this thing, but again, to open it here, you just undo this wing nut, pop it out like so, pull your door open, and then this, you just gotta undo it from this little press-in type clip thing. There you go, and we can take a look at the insides here. We already got some light in here, but I'll get my flashlight out. You can see the original terminal socket is in here. We've got a lovely backlight terminal block, and you can kind of see it from this angle that it says red 1, red 2, green 1, green 2, yellow 1, yellow 2, and then back over here are all the neutrals, and they all tie together. Very nice high quality terminal block in there, and it basically just mounts on these corner screws. One thing you'll notice actually about this terminal block here is there's no screws on it, and I don't know if that's just because of the age of the signal and that wasn't really something they were able to do yet. But basically what they actually have are threads. There are screws, but they're threaded in, and if I can get the camera in here correctly, you can see just under those wing connectors, you can see little bolts basically holding those screws in. And then you got the connections that are made to those screws, and then you got another set of bolts that hold them down. So I guess some of the older signals did this. I never really knew this type of terminal block existed. Now, do I think it's good or bad? I don't think it's bad. I think it's really nice actually, and you definitely can really screw those down tight and get a good connection. So I actually like that unique design in terminal block. So really cool. I think that's definitely super awesome. Right over here you can see my little controller and my wires coming off that controller. I went ahead and made sure I color coded them accordingly to how they probably would have had it in the real signals. For streets 1 and 3, I got normal red, green, yellow. And for streets 2 and 4, I got blue, orange, and purple. I will explain in just a sec what those color codes go to, but yeah, pretty nice in here. Alright, let's go ahead now and close this back up here, and let's open up another door and take a look at that little controller I got. So the terminal block is over on side 4, so let's go ahead and open up our red light here. Again, just pop this out like so. Those lamps are starting to get hot. Here is our terminal block right here. So this is the best view for now I can get for it. But basically this is a standard circuit board controller. As you can see, I made a little bit of a cardboard mount, and it just basically mounts on these screw mounts that are molded to the aluminum housing. And yeah, I just cut the cardboard accordingly. I know it might be a little bit of a cheap way of getting it in there, but I used nice clean cardboard and I made sure it looked good, so I think it works, and you really aren't going to see it when this is closed up. So I think that's definitely okay. I have to get my trusty flashlight back out again. Now, if you're wondering where I purchased this controller, there's a website called trafficlightstogo.com. Now, they actually make traffic signals, they actually make parts, and they make little controller accessories as well. I don't really know much about their traffic light stuff other than their controllers. And this right here is a 4-way controller for a 4-way style intersection. You can pretty much put these in these 4 ways. They're very good for that, and they got all the terminals, and you have a speed controller. And I will show you actually how this thing works. So your little knob, if I can zoom in here, it's about to get a little bit brighter here. There's that little knob right here. There it is. That is your speed controller. All you got to do is put a little screwdriver in there and adjust that. So I took this little thing out here. Now, to get the signal in flasher mode, this basically has a splicer in it, so you really want to make sure the two terminals here are connected, and we'll go ahead and plug that back in. I had it like partially unplugged. Now you can see the signal is in flash mode. If we mess with the dial switches, I'll put that 1 down to 2. Now you can see it's blinking red on all 4s. And another thing, if I can get this back out again, take that back out. If you flip 1 up, this is something I just learned the other day. I don't know if you guys already just saw that, but instead of going from instead of going from red and having that pause and then this side turns green, it actually, when this side hits red, when each street hits red, it instantly goes to green. Now, a lot of these signals were on mechanical controllers back then, which didn't use electronics like the new ones. So a lot of those controllers sequenced that way, which makes a lot of sense. And I realized I didn't even have it on that setting, so I'm going to keep it on this setting now for the rest of the video. But yeah, that's basically your controller in here. It's pretty cool. Yeah, you can see that just turned right to green. put that back on. You don't want to cover up both of those little spike terminals. You just kind of want to have it hang off on one, just so it's kind of like that. And yeah, and these are your splice terminals where you screw your wires in. And of course, for streets 1 and 3, red is red, yellow is yellow, green is green. And for streets 2 and 4, blue is green, purple is red, and orange is yellow. So I got a little bit of color coding going on there, and I'm really pleased at how that looks. Very awesome. And yeah, that's basically the controller in here. Of course, the wires actually in here are kind of color coded already as well. They're not too color coded, but let's go ahead and close this top section. And we'll go ahead and kind of just go, we'll skip down to the bottom of the signal. There's not really much to see in regards to anything else. So go ahead and open the bottom section now. And right here you can see that lovely lens. Go ahead and open this up. Right here at the bottom you can see the flat plate, and there's actually a little thread lock right here holding a cap. There's actually a spot right here where you can actually add an additional module, single face module on the bottom, and usually what that would be used for is for a safe green arrow instance. And of course, if you want to put any other modules, of course, you can put anything else you want on that. So pretty cool. Of course, here is the instructions and stuff for that little module I got. They actually send you these in the mail. So yeah, there we go. Lights to Go Inc. www.trafficsignals.com. I'll go ahead and put a link to their controller down in the description below. I actually had to call the order mine because there are, I guess, some specific specs you can get for it. So yeah, that is the website to get your controller. So, and you got your instructions here that tell you all about it. So yeah, pretty cool. Other than that, we just got our wires and stuff in here, and there's not much else to see. So yeah, pretty awesome. Go ahead and close that back up like so. Screw that down. And now we can actually go ahead and just watch this signal sequence. So like my Durasig video I did, we're just going to go ahead and watch this wonderful signal just go through its sequences. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and do pretty much every sequence this signal could possibly do. And that's 3 sequences, one being its standard red, yellow, green sequence, blinking all red 4-way sequence, and yellow and red blinking. So we'll go ahead and watch the signal kind of just do its thing. And we'll watch it at in real-time speed just so we can kind of get the feel of what the signal would look like. So I'm going to go ahead and try to turn off a couple lights. I'm not going to get it too dark in here because that'll put some overexposure in the camera. Actually, that's not bad at all. Let's go ahead and do this little low light thing we got going on. So yeah. So like I said, there is a standard setting as if the signal was on a newer controller, but I have the switches set so that when it hits red on one side, the other side will instantly turn green, which is what you would usually find on these older signals, as the mechanical controllers really weren't that intelligent just yet for that kind of operation. One thing I love about these old signals is that they use screw-in style lamps. And I really love the old incandescent traffic lights. The fade is very nice on these signals, and they're always very soft on the eye. They're not super bright like the LEDs, and they don't color blind you. So yeah, let's go ahead and watch it sequence. So we're facing Street 4. We just went to yellow. We have that wonderful fade. Now we're on red, and now Streets 1 and 3 are green. Let's go ahead and watch and wait. Alright, they're going on yellow, and now we should be able to go. Alright, now our side's green again. I really love that transition. The 8-inch signals have a little bit of a quicker soft transition because they're smaller, but the 12-inch ones definitely have a slower fade transition, but I still like it a lot. Go ahead and just watch it one more time, and while that's doing that, right ahead, when it turns to yellow, I'm going to go ahead and open up that top and switch that controller over to flash. You can watch it in flash mode. Oh, there it goes. Now we are on red, and again, streets 1 and 3 are now green. So let me go ahead and I'm going to set the signal now into flash mode. Let's go ahead and up on contact here. Put those contacts on both. Alright. We are currently set to red and yellow flasher. Streets 1 and 3 are on yellow, and our side streets 2 and 4 are blinking red. Now I do have it intentionally set up so that streets 1 can be and 3 can be on yellow, because those would technically be my main streets, and then 2 and 4 would be my secondaries. So we'll go ahead and watch that for a second, and look at that wonderful fade. Yes, I really love that. Basically, this setting would kick on at night when there's no traffic, so you can safely pass through the intersection. Let's go ahead and I'm going to switch it again. I'm going to go ahead and set it to all red, but actually, real quick, let's turn it to the side. We can watch it on flash on yellow. Here's the yellow side. So right now we're facing street 1. This would be our main street. And while that's doing that, let me go ahead now and change it so that it can be red all the way. All I'm going to do is flip switch 1 on the controller. Boom! We are now red on all sides. Really cool. Now I'll flip this back. Oh, I hit something. Go ahead and flip that back. You can see that side's red too. And now, we'll go ahead and set it back to normal. Set that switch up. And when it goes from flash to normal sequence, usually the main street 1 and 3 will start at yellow, just to warn traffic to slow down, just because the sequence is time of day is changing. And pretty much once it hits red, the one side will go streets 4 and 2 should go green to let traffic go through, since this side was blinking red already, and then it'll stop the other cross sections. So yeah. Now that we're towards the end of the video, my thoughts on the signal are pretty good. This is a good high quality signal. It's very nice and definitely unique in shape and design with its special cutaway tunnel visors. I do love the way it looks when it sequences. The sawtooth lenses aren't really the most interesting style lenses. I would prefer the old Marbelite lenses, but with this being a later version signal, I'm assuming that those were put on probably because they were a little bit easier and cheaper for them to make, but they're still nice too. I really like this signal when it sequences. It's so beautiful, and I really love the incandescent look. And other than that, there really isn't anything wrong with this signal, especially since it has its original components and it's still to connect all the wiring. I really do like that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this. I have lots of videos planned in the future. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and for you guys who collect traffic signals, happy collecting and good luck, and have fun with your signals. So yeah, bye everyone.